TRW, Crossbows and Cannon 1, Battle of Pavia, 1525, Imperialist army under Lannoy against a French army under King Francis, right there. This is an evolution on the last video. Did some more reading on Renaissance warfare, and also, just as important, I reread the designer notes for Crossbows and Cannon 2, and so definitely need to correct the track I was on in the last video. So let me just go in order here. Designer notes, and I reread this. I'd forgotten about this from before, but this might be why I was always using the Crossbows and Cannon 2 rules. You might notice some differences in this edition compared to the first. The most important in the basic rules is the change of step losses for skirmishers. And so, first of all, I did establish that arquebusiers are light or are skirmishers. They are now eliminated when they suffer their first step loss. This was done to make them more fragile, which is more in keeping with how they were historically. I've also added some fire ability in some of the fight. Okay, that's all Crossbows and Cannon 2, but from that, I get the implication that in fact I should be using Crossbows and Cannon 2 rules, or maybe it's, or maybe just retrofit the step losses. Yeah, see, skirmish units, longbow, arquebusier, crossbow, stratiot, light cavalry, and genitors are eliminated and removed from play for the first step loss. So, terrain effects chart should be for 1. Fire combat results table and range determination table, I guess, should be for Crossbows and Cannon 1. Melee table is probably the same. Yeah, I guess I'll go to Crossbows and Cannon 2. Rules using the tables from Crossbows and Cannon 1. That should work. Okay. With respect to the Renaissance warfare, so you still have the dynamic of the Reiter cavalry ascendant over light and heavy infantry. The question is, do any of these cavalry units represent Reiters? And now I'm thinking probably not. This 1525 Battle of Pavia is probably too early for Reiter cavalry. So maybe it would not make sense to have the, well, to reflect that. But that just raises the question in my mind, starting from the designer and the design, the model here, what is actually meant by, heavy cavalry? It says heavy cavalry, gendarmes. So that would be heavy cavalry and gendarmes, but still not Reiters. Reiters were armed with handheld handguns, handheld firearms, and clearly the heavy cavalry here does not have fire capability. So the Reiters were armored, and they were armed with handguns. I mean, handguns in a sense, but handheld firearms. But okay, but then what is meant by where they are? What's meant by light cavalry? Where's light cavalry? Where's the light cavalry? Right light. In this game, the figure, if the horse figures look identical, the outlines, the silhouettes, but if they're facing to the right, they're light cavalry. If facing to the left, they're heavy cavalry. So I remember that as right is light. But then what is meant by light cavalry? Ah, light cavalry has the fire capability here. So are these riders? I still think it's too early for these to be riders. But the designer gave them fire capability. I don't know. It's interesting to consider. Maybe the designer did consider the light. See, I would not consider riders to be light cavalry, but then maybe it's just a term, and maybe light is too misleading. But anyways, that's what I'm left to think about. This scenario doesn't have, and just to finish this out, in Crossbows and Cannon 1, you do have Stradiots and Genitors, but it's the exact same horse silhouette, which is interesting. The Stradiot and Genitors have the same facing left silhouette of the heavy cavalry, but they have the ST and the GN. Oh, and you have mounted arquebusiers too. So what did the designer consider light cavalry? Well, anyways, no answers, questions that I'm thinking about in my playthrough here. So let's see, the 0900 hours game turn. So we start with the order phase. Are we going to change any orders? So we'll review real quick. We got Bourbon on the far left for the Imperialist Army attack command. That's fine. They're going to continue on. Maybe Frunberg attack order. Actually, they probably are going to both converge here because they are nearest, I guess. I'm thinking about implementing the attack order. Can they really pass this enemy formation and go towards the second one? I don't think so. No. All right, Frundsberg attack order. I'll leave that. Lanoy stand. Sane attack. That's okay. Artillery. Pescara advance. Pescara has infantry. Actually, Pescara could change to attack. Put that behind there, and then I'm going to leave all the French because they should all be stand, reserve, and reserve. That is fine. You know, Yeah, okay, so Pescara has a command rating of 5. Does not get it, rolls a 6. He's not within the command span of his overall leader, so no modifier there, which actually would have helped, would have succeeded in changing his order. Alright, so first player, Imperialist side, movement phase. Is there anybody out of command? This is Bourbon, Frundsberg, Lanoy, Sane, Pescara. That is a skirmisher unit. So nobody is out of command. Movement, we definitely have movement to be sure. So we've got, let's see, I'll move these guys first. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. All those pike infantry. Moving on there. Illinois has stand order, so they can all move 1 hex, and they will do so. Artillery could move up, close the distance, close the range. Actually, they can move 2, can't they? That seems unusual. I think I would have given them just a movement allowance of 1. Or if you're going to give them 2, don't allow them to shoot in the same turn that they move. Just something that I thought I saw before. Let's see. Beskar only has to move 1. Move there with his advance command. Skirmishers can't move into zones of control. 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 3. Actually, the routed units don't have zones of control. So isn't that interesting? They don't have zones of control. So that means that skirmishers they may not enter an enemy combat unit zone of control. It's not adjacency, it's zone of control, and under zones of control, oh, I thought routed units didn't have a zone of control, do they? That's funny. Combat units exert zone of control. Leaders and skirmish units do not. Routed units exert no ZOCs. Exception. Well, saying routed units exert no ZOC, isn't that the same thing as saying they have no ZOC? Sure. Alright. Sloppy rules writing. Sloppy rules writing. First player combat phase. Fire combat first. Defensive fire first. We definitely have defensive fire here. Got the artillery here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 maximum. That's not maximum range, but it's the maximum range band, column, whatever you want to call it. That's long range. Alright. Artillery here. 7. That is miss. Oh wait, yeah, miss. Artillery on Illinois with his. Actually, he's going to fire onto the pike unit there. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Pike unit +1. 9. There's a morale check on the Italian pike unit there. Morale of 6, and they fail their morale. So, route, turn around, and they're so far away from the enemy. They're just gonna route 1 there. Go right behind Illinois, their commander. All right. Let's see. That is heavy cavalry. Let's see. King Francis is stacked with heavy cavalry. I can't remember. No, I think that. Let me see if it's written down in this rules for looking for a line of sight, line of fire, down a hex side there. Well, it's hard to believe, but it is spelled out in black and white. If line of sight is traced exactly along the hex side, loss is blocked if either or both of the hexes on either side of the line are blocking. That doesn't make any sense, but okay. So they can fire at this one. 3 hex range. 3 hex range is medium 6. There's the morale check. So the arquebusiers there have a printed morale of 6, and they roll a 10. They fail. Put a route marker on them. Turn them away from enemy units. 1, 2, 3. All right. Let's see. Pike units. I guess that's it for defensive fire. Offensive fire. Let's see here. Oop. It's heavy cavalry, artillery for sure. So let's fire this artillery on King Francis there in his heavy cavalry. 3 hexes away, medium range 7. It's a morale check. 8, -1 for being stacked with the leader. Oh, that's a very high morale of 9, so they are fine. This artillery fire on police there. Should be medium range. 8. Yeah. Morale check. 2, yeah. It's 2 -1 stacked with leaders. Just fine. Okay, our arquebusier over here. Now, do they retreat before melee? Wait, no. No. Alright, so arquebusier here. Range of 1. Short range. Ooh, a 10. 10 is 2. Well, actually, let's see what it is, 2. Yep, it is a... Wow. Wow, that is 2 step losses. Yeah, 2 step losses. Wow. So, first step loss. Flip it over. Second step loss. Wow. Morale check. -1 for being stacked with the leader. Okay, they pass. 4 -1 is 3. The next one to the other Swiss pike unit there. 1. Opposite end of the spectrum. Nothing. Right over here. Oh, firing on the routed unit, but that alone doesn't do anything. So let's see what else happens here. So here, adjacent to 3, but that's nothing. No, I'm sorry, that's a morale check. That was the cavalry, right? Yeah. Cavalry. Morale check. Alright, they're going to pass with a 2. The next one on that unit, stack. 2 is nothing. And finally, the Vesto mounted, or light cavalry. Light cavalry, I mean. Speed medium range, 2. 2 is nothing on the medium range column. Alright, that is offensive fire. Melee. Let me identify my melees, and I'll come back for resolution. Alright, there's actually just one melee right here in the center. Let's see who is involved. So we got the leader with the attack command, that's relevant. And we have two attacking heavy cavalry. Defending, we have a leader with a staying command, that's going to be relevant, and a heavy cavalry. So here, attackers are going to, so I announced my combat, my attacking combat units and the enemy combat units that will be meleeed. The attacking combat units are going to check their morale. So that's sane. The first sane heavy cavalry rolls a 4, -1 being stacked with a leader for 3, which is well below his printed morale of 8 there. Next unit, is 8, but -1 for being stacked with a leader is below printed morale. So both attackers are in. We go to the, okay, so, well, cavalry can't retreat from cavalry. So no issue there, no question. Yeah. Alright, so the defending combat units check morale. They roll an 8. That has a very high morale of 9, but 8, -1 for being stacked with a leader. They pass. So both units are in. So if at least one attacking unit passes morale, defending unit combat units check morale. Now we go on, both players now total their values. So there's 6 for the attackers there is their combat roll, and 10 for the defenders. Okay. So both players total combat strength. We have 2 + 2 is 4 against 2. Each player rolls a die, which is modified by leader combat bonus, +1 for the Imperialist side, +1 for the French side. Terrain is not an issue. Command chit is. So we have heavy cavalry with an attack command. The strength is doubled, and they have a +1 die roll modifier. So it's not 4, it's 8 +1. +1. I guess that's it. And then the leader's combat bonus there for sane. That's it. So 8 with a final roll of 8 is 1 step loss actually. So defender will take 1 step loss. And then check morale. Check morale. Okay. The defenders though. So they are defending combat units with a staying command. So +1. Well, +1 and +1 for the leader. That'll be +2. So that's 12 on the 1 to 3 column. That's 1 step loss. So both sides take a step loss. Okay. Now we do morale checks. From this, defender first, if I remember correctly. Both are required to retreat. Defender does so first. So I'll just do the defender first. So again, printed morale of 9. And no, it's 10, which would be a failure. -1 for being stacked with leader is 9. So actually, wait, they can't fail their morale check. They cannot fail their morale check. I don't like that. There's another thing. I don't understand why in this game, other than the designer just considering it one level of complexity too much, I don't understand why you don't modify the roll with the number of step losses that you just took. So this was 1 step loss. It should be a morale check +1. Should be. I mean, it just makes sense. But anyways, so they can't fail their morale check. I don't like to see printed morale of 9 stacked with a leader means you're always going to subtract 1 from the roll. I don't like that. I don't like those kinds of basically automatic results in a sense. Alright. Now the attackers both check morale, so 7, -1 for being stacked with a leader. They pass. The second unit there also rolls a 7, -1 for being stacked with a leader, so they both pass. The top unit takes the step loss. Should have been more there. That's it. I'll do some morale checks for the recovery rally phase.